Hey friends, Gary here, and today I want to share 5 Micro Four Thirds lenses which represents the original philosophy of Micro Four Thirds: small, lightweight, great performance, great image quality, and affordable price. Anyway, today's episode is shot on the Sony ZV-E10. I just bought this camera with the Filtrox 13mm f1.4. Please let me know how the image looks, especially compared to my previous setup using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Anyway, as some of you guys might already know, Micro Four Thirds manufacturers started to upgrade the capabilities of the cameras and lenses to become professional grade. They become perfect performer in terms of features and specification. They produce better image quality, but they start to become bigger, heavier and pricier, and I think now it's the perfect time for Micro Four Thirds manufacturers to get back on its original roots. Now I know that some people prefer larger, chunkier, beefier Micro Four Thirds camera for better ergonomics, handling, and also better performance overall. I respect that. I think it's great now that we have choices for beefier, more professional Micro Four Thirds camera, and that's cool. However, I've been reading the news and I discovered that recently there's a surge of interest, a surge of demand of people who are looking for more compact camera, especially for travel photography and for enthusiast photographer, for content creator, this casual hobbyist kind of people. And I think Micro Four Thirds manufacturers should acknowledge this increase of demand and start making cameras that synchronize with the needs of people nowadays. Anyway, plenty of camera manufacturers can create smaller camera. However, if you want a truly compact setup, you need smaller lenses as well. And with larger camera formats, it's not that easy to create smaller lens that can cover the larger sensor on the camera, and Micro Four Thirds still has its advantage in this area. So let's talk about some lenses that still holds to the original philosophy of Micro Four Thirds. Once again, smaller, lighter, great performer, great image quality, and great price. Anyway, let's start with the first lens, and it's this guy right here. This is the Olympus 45mm f1.8. So yeah, this is a perfect example of the original philosophy of Micro Four Thirds. You should remember that philosophy right now: small, lightweight, great performer, great image quality, and great price. So what makes this lens so special is that this is a really tiny lens, but it has a medium telephoto focal length and large aperture and really great price. Definitely under $300. You can find a used one in good condition close to about $220 something. So yeah, perfect value. And this is an example of bokeh in a budget. Very useful, especially at this focal length for portrait photography, for distant landscape photo, for product photography, for a little bit of event photography. It's just so nice, so compact. The image quality is just so sharp, so excellent. There's no flaw with this lens, and I just love it. Come on, we need more lenses like this. Next lens is this guy right here. This is the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5. If you think the Olympus 45mm is a small lens, then you'll be surprised to see that the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5 is even smaller. It's a pancake lens, it's very thin. I'm surprised that this even has autofocus that performs really well. Again, another embodiment of the original Micro Four Thirds philosophy: small, lightweight, great performer, great image quality, and great price. So what makes this lens really special for me is the focal length. 14mm, it's quite a versatile focal length, especially if you just want to carry one prime lens with you all the time. I think this is the focal length to go. With 14mm, you can do all sorts of things: landscape photography, scenery photography, environmental portrait, street photography, food photography, everything with just one single prime lens. Is just fantastic in my opinion. The large aperture f2.5 helps for lower light condition and also to get a little bit of background blur, especially if you are very close to your subject. So yeah, the price of this lens is quite affordable as well, almost similarly priced with the Olympus 45mm. And for travel photography and for everyday photography, it's just so perfect, especially with a smaller camera. So nice, one of my favorite lenses. Next lens, another perfect embodiment of the original Micro Four Thirds philosophy, is this guy right here, Panasonic Lumix 20mm f1.7. It's currently attached to one of my smaller Micro Four Thirds camera. As you can see, it's also a pancake lens, slightly thicker compared to the 14mm, but it has larger f1.7 aperture. It's just so perfect in my opinion. So 20mm is an in-between focal length between 17mm and 25mm. Both are the classic street photography focal lengths for Micro Four Thirds. 17 is about 35 in full frame and 25 is about 50mm in full frame. So this is 40mm right in between. That's the sweet spot in my opinion. I don't really like either 17 or 25, but with the 20 right in between, I love it. It can be a 17 if you move back a little bit, and it can be a 25 if you move forward a little bit. Such a flexible lens. Again, this is perfect for street photography, for a little bit of scenery photography, for environmental portrait. It shines really well. Image quality is just great. Autofocus a little bit slower compared to the other lenses, but not a problem at all. Still blazing fast in my opinion. You won't regret getting this lens. Next lens is this excellent guy right here. This is the Olympus 75mm f1.8. Now hold on a minute. If you compare this guy to the other lenses that I've already mentioned in this video, this is so much bigger. This is so much heavier, it's a chunky lens and much more expensive. However, if you compare it with APS-C or full frame lens of the equivalent focal length and aperture, then you can start to get a perspective change and you can start to appreciate that this guy is small, light, relatively cheaper compared to the full frame or APS-C counterparts, and it still delivers excellent image quality. In fact, this is one of the sharpest Micro Four Thirds lens ever. It's just so amazing. I always enjoy using this lens, especially with the focal length 75mm and the large aperture f1.8. It's great for getting that background blur picture, that bokeh picture, and for portrait, for a little bit of distant landscape, this lens is just excellent, excellent. I just love it whenever I have a chance to use this lens for those kinds of applications. Next lens is this guy right here. This is my favorite Micro Four Thirds lens ever. This is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. Another perfect embodiment of the original Micro Four Thirds philosophy. This is so special because actually it can cover a focal length range similar to 70 to 200mm in full frame terms, but it can fit inside the palm of your hand like what I'm doing right now. I mean, what's not to like about it? This lens is also very sharp in my experience, almost as sharp if not sharper compared to the pro version of this guy, 35 to 100mm f2.8. This is the perfect lens for travel photography and for distant landscape photography. I took so many keeper shots using this lens, and I really think that if you wanna stay true to the original philosophy of Micro Four Thirds, then you should really consider this lens, especially if you are looking for a telephoto lens. Alright, now it's time for honorable mentions, lenses that don't make it into the main list. First is the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7. Wow, I think that is an excellent lens. It is also small, but the image quality from what I've heard is really sharp. The price is very reasonable for that focal length and for that large f1.7 aperture. The problem why it doesn't make it into my main list is because I currently don't have it. Maybe I will have it sometime in the future, but I don't want to talk too much about lens that I don't have first-hand experience with. But anyway, I think it's a perfect wide-angle lens for micro four thirds shooter. Next on the honorable mention list is this guy right here. This is the Panasonic Lumix 12 to 32mm f3.5 to f5.6 kit lens. Now, don't get me wrong, this lens has excellent image quality, excellent performance. It's very small, tiny, lightweight, compact, and it's very affordable as a kit lens. I mean, you can buy this guy together with some smaller Panasonic Lumix Micro Four Thirds camera for almost nothing. I mean, what's better than that? However, it doesn't make it into my main list, not because there's any flaw with this lens, but because I don't necessarily associate this lens with the word fun or enjoyment. I mean, this lens can get the job done. It's satisfying to use, but it's not like it's not something like this, you know, like the Olympus 45mm. Whenever I use this guy, I feel so much enjoyment. I have a lot of good time with this lens. With this guy, it's like, yeah, I got a nice picture. That's about it. You know, that kind of feeling. But anyway, not a bad lens at all. Last but not least, on the honorable mention is the Olympus 9 to 18mm f4 to f5.6. Oh, this is almost the perfect lens. However, it is broken. Mine suffers from the ribbon cable issue like so many other people. I think it's a shame because this is a nice lens. Image quality is fantastic. Focal length range is very flexible. It is also small and lightweight, perfect for travel photography and landscape photography. Yeah, if it's not broken, this should have made it into the main list. However, Olympus is releasing a newer version of this guy, the Mark II version. Hopefully that one fixes the ribbon cable issue, and if that is the case, then I could really recommend the second version of this guy. And that wraps up today's video. So those are all the 5 Micro Four Thirds lenses and some honorable mentions that really stick into the original philosophy of Micro Four Thirds. Small, lightweight, great performance, great image quality, and affordable price. Hopefully this has been interesting, informative, entertaining, and also inspiring. Anyway, let's have a discussion on the comment down below. What is your favorite lens that is small, compact, lightweight, has a great performance and great image quality, but with affordable price? I want to know from you guys. And if you have any questions, please comment down below as well. I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below, or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel, or buy my ebook called Simplifying Travel Photography. It's a course about travel photography. You can find it on the description down below as well. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.